on this computer. So I guess it's recording now. I believe this meeting is being recorded. If not, I'm just going to go ahead and start my Camtasia so I can make sure that I get this recorded because this is important and I need to have it come. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming this evening. I am glad you're here. You know how many I have 12 participants. So what we've been talking about here, I had a group come in earlier who was looking for an alternative assignment because they were busy and they couldn't complete the, they thought they couldn't complete the service learning project. And it is a huge undertaking. I realize that, which is why I'm giving you guys some time, right, to do this. And don't forget, guys, the week that you do your service learning project, you're working on your community service, I'm asking for 5 hours, you get to exempt that week's worth of work. So you don't have to, you're still responsible for knowing the content, but if we have discussions and quizzes and assignments that week, you get to exempt that, okay? Because I know you're busy. I know you have lots to do. But I do want you to do 5 hours of community service. And so these people really felt like they were not going to be able to do that. And like I told them, I got to thinking, well, if you do a research paper, which is kind of the only thing I could come up with because it had to be the same amount of work, right, as the others, you're still going to be doing, you know, some time, spending time getting that done. So I found this website where you can do volunteer hours at home, okay? And I'm going to put this on the website, but I'll give you a quick look at it. It's, and if you just do a Google search on volunteer opportunities and go down a few, you'll see this site, the same site. There's lots of sites that talk about this, okay? So it's not just this one. Hey, Keely. Okay, so what we were doing was we were going through these sites and we were seeing all these different places that you can volunteer from home. Now, there's a few of them that you're probably not going to be interested in, but there are some others that I just kind of want to spotlight right now. The first is this Be My Eyes. This is an app that you download, and I haven't really read the entire website, so you'll be responsible for getting in there and really knowing and understanding what you have to do. But essentially what you do is people with low vision or no vision who are blind, they will request from the app for you to read something for them. Maybe, like it says, an expiration date or distinguished colors or reading instructions, navigating new surroundings. And so this might be something that you'll want to do. Like I told the other group that you may use your time of your 5 hours working on this project. Part of that time can be looking for a project to do. Okay, I'm fine with that. Okay, so this is one that might be of interest to you. Some others that they have here. If you know a second language as Translators Without Borders, that's kind of, you know, this translating stuff for people who need it. This United Nations one right here, this is really working with people in other countries, either designing a flyer of something or making a video about something. And what you do is when you, to decide, you know, what you want to do with these, they have these different projects. And you just click on this, right? And it'll tell you exactly what they need. And if you feel like you can do that, then you reach out to them and you set up something with them. Okay. Another one that's really good that I found was this Zooniverse right here. This is an online platform, and you can choose your own interest. right? The arts, climate, history, language, you name it, right? And so obviously I clicked on history, okay, because that was my interest. And what you see here are all the different online projects that relate to history. For example, there are, this one right here I was looking at earlier, you are transcribing the military records of African American soldiers during the American Civil War. Okay, so when you click on this, and I think it's my computer that's running slow, it shows you how to do, they're going to tell you everything you need to know about how to do this. It's definitely my computer. I can tell it's just really going. So what you would do is it give you all kinds of information, right? But you would, get rid of that. You would look at this document and you would put it in. They just need help transcribing it, okay? And so if you choose to do something like this, that's what you would document for your community service. Maybe even take a picture of yourself doing it, or like a selfie or something, because I do want you, part of your service learning project, to add pictures, whether it is pictures that you take yourself, or something that somebody takes of you is fine. That is Zooniverse. There's tons of stuff there. Project Gutenberg, that's proofreading ebooks. You can track some bird populations. I don't know why you would want to, but you could. You can knit. If you crochet, knit, you can do this for the babies and adults in Afghanistan. Or no, Afghan squares. Okay, to, I guess for anybody, I don't know. The Smithsonian is another really good one. It's transcribing historical documents. And there's tons of different, I'll tell you something else they had in here, and I saw this earlier. They have some recordings from NASA from 1968, and they need help transcribing those NASA recordings. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't know. I don't know if I can find it in our short time that we have together, but if I do, I will certainly point you in the right direction for that. But it really is cool because you listen to this recording and you just write down, what they're saying. Maybe here's where I found it. Let's see. Give me just a minute, because now that I want to find it, I can't let it go. But I guess I'm going to have to. They even have stuff from the Freedmen's Bureau, and if you take the second half of history, you'll learn more about the Freedmen's Bureau. The Freedmen's Bureau was set up after the Civil War to help the former slaves kind of acclimate to their new surroundings in the South and in other places. But they ended up helping the white people more than the former slaves because, well, for obvious reasons. So they must have added some stuff. Let me see. How am I doing my time? I'm okay, I think. Let's see. There were some recordings, I'm telling you, and they were really interesting. I think it would be kind of cool to listen to. There it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. See, I'm like tenacious. So all you would do is like find something that needs like transcribing, like start transcribing, and you would just click on it, and you would read the tutorial, get educated on it, and then just, literally just let it play, and as it plays, you just kind of type in. So if you're a science person and you like that kind of thing, do that. All right, do I have any questions? I haven't even checked my chat. No, nobody's. Okay. All right. So I will put these online opportunities on our homepage, and so you can look through those to see if maybe something like that is what you would like to do for your service learning project. All right. Today is September 11th, so hopefully you remembered that. I don't know if most of you are old enough to really remember September 11th, but there's a very significant reason why, you know, we remember that, but one person's chatting. Good for you, Tucker. I hope you can do something like that. I hope everybody can do something like that. All right. What you really came here for, which was probably the discussion question, okay? So I'll go ahead and talk about our discussion question. So the Declaration of Independence is, because we're starting the American Revolutionary War in our studies. As it was being written by the Second Continental Congress, delegates to the Second Continental Congress, it went through many drafts. It went through many revisions. Thomas Jefferson, also known as the father of the Constitution, actually had to kind of be talked into coming to the Second Continental Congress and even writing this. John Adams says that he had to talk Jefferson in to coming over. Really, Jefferson was interested in the Virginia Constitution. That's what he wanted to write. But he did started writing first, the first draft of the Declaration of Independence. And it went through several revisions, 47 minor revisions, some added paragraphs. Actually, they don't know who revised what. They didn't get that detailed. You know, this is a 3-day meeting, and they're in closed quarters, and they're trying to hammer this thing out. In the writing of it, one of the things that Thomas Jefferson did not want to, or got kind of perturbed about, was that the delegates, Ben Franklin, John Adams, those folks didn't want to offend the British, right? And Thomas Jefferson was kind of mad about that and said, you know, who cares if we, you know, offend them. But it's interesting to know that the document, the Declaration of Independence, was finalized on the 4th of July, because that's our holiday, right? That's the one we all know and love. But actually, the decision to declare independence from colonial Britain was actually done on the 2nd. And John Adams said, you know, the July 2nd would be, you know, known through history, and nobody really cares about July 2nd. It's July 4th that we all, you know, get the hamburgers and the hot dogs going and whatnot. So there are 26 copies of the Declaration of Independence that are known to have survived, one even being mistakenly put in a picture frame and sold at a yard sale, and when that was discovered, it was sold for like, it was auctioned off, I think, for like $2 million or something like that. But the one that we all know about is the one that you see where John Hancock's writing is really big. It's currently being monitored in the Rotunda of the National Archives. If you've ever seen the movie National Treasure, is that it? If you've ever seen the movie, then you know how secure it is. I really think that you could ever like roll it up like wallpaper and you know, take off with it. But in 1776, that version of the Declaration of Independence was not even finished until about August the 2nd of that year. So we have our Declaration of Independence, but the controversy is over slavery, actually. Well, one of the controversies. There were lots of things that were talked about in those meetings. Frederick Douglass is famously quoted as saying, what to a slave is the 4th of July, right? Because obviously talks about all men, not really all men were included, right? Not only that, but this controversial amendment was taken out of the Declaration of Independence, and it really would have called for the abolishment of slavery before the United States even became the United States. In this, Jefferson wrote this. Thomas Jefferson wrote this this passage right here that was taken out of the Declaration of Independence. He's accusing the king of perpetuating the slave trade and eventually slavery itself, or giving the impression of slavery itself. He claims that this passage was struck out in complacence with Georgia and South Carolina. Now, Georgia and South Carolina were very active in the transatlantic slave trade. And, you know, when you've got a group of people together, this is about trying to make everybody get along. And especially when this is going on in 1776, you have delegates from all of these different colonies. Remember, we're not states yet. And each colony is standing pretty much on its own. We're not united yet at all. We won't even be united after we become the United States for a period of time. So to get everybody on board, hard decisions have to be made, and some things stay in and some things go out. And to appease these colonies that are heavily depending on the slave trade is probably one of the reasons why this passage was taken out. But we can't heap all the blame on the southern colonies, because this last quote right here says, though their people have had few slaves themselves, they have been pretty considerable carriers of them to others. And what he's talking about there is the northern states. The northern states had a gradual, you know, it wasn't as clear that, you know, the southern colonies had slaves, and that the northern colonies or states, as we become, want abolition. It's not very clear at all. In fact, the North was very slow in pushing forth their abolitionist thoughts and ideals. So it was one of those things where Thomas Jefferson felt strongly, oddly enough, about having this in here, but other people were not going to stick their necks out for this, okay? Well, let's talk about Thomas Jefferson, because he's in kind of a conflicting position that not a whole lot of people bring up, okay? Because he himself owns, at this time, 180 slaves. And continued to own slaves even after writing this passage in the Declaration of Independence, which got pulled out. Not to mention, he had 6 children with his slave, Sally Hemings. So he is kind of in an ironic position. But you also have to understand the time period. 1/3 of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were slave owners. And as I mentioned before, abolition in the North did not come strong. It was very gradual. In fact, full abolition doesn't even happen until 1865, right? With the Emancipation Proclamation. And really, if you think about it, it's still going on today, right? With human trafficking. Today, between 25 and 30 million slaves or human trafficking is going on. So this hasn't actually gone away. In the United States, as we will see as we start to study about the beginnings of the United States and what's building us, we are very good on this issue of kicking the can down the road. And we do it the first time with this passage in the Declaration of Independence. We have a really great opportunity right here to say, all right, these are our views on slavery. And as it turns out, we don't do that. We just say, well, let's not put this in here now. We'll worry about this later. And we're going to worry about that later. Okay, this is in 1776, all the way through the first half of what we will be studying in U.S. history. And let's face it, right? We're still worrying about it today. The issue is still not solved, okay? So we have here, my very last comment, we have an opportunity lost at the very beginning. And we were close, right? We're really close. We could have had something right here if this had been entered into our Declaration of Independence. So that is your discussion question this week. Okay, let me see if I can get to our class. So what you're going to do in your discussion question is you are going to just tell me what you think would have happened had we left that in the Declaration of Independence. How would we be different today? I'm sorry, I didn't log in. And I said that I would reveal the discussion question after our live session. How am I doing on time? Oh, I'm doing good on time. That's what I will do. But I'm going to get to it real quick. When I get in these Zoom meetings, my computer just says, "Oh no, I got too much going on. I've got too much going on here. I can't work as efficiently." So I'll go right here to discussions and open this up for you guys. Where's my Boston Massacre? Where is this? Yes, right here. All right, so this is what it's going to say. Would the course of American history have changed significantly if the Declaration of Independence had included Jefferson's statement? Okay. If so, how? If not, why not? And then I want you to make an initial post in response to classmates, okay? So this is going to give a little bit of more background to this. I think it's important for us to not just say, yeah, it would have been different. Tell me what would have been different. Tell me what would have, okay, so if they're not going to if we are outlawing slavery, right? So that stops that transatlantic slave trade, or does it? Okay, if the people aren't going to, if we're not going to allow slavery, but we still need the labor, okay? So now are we going to pay them? Are they going to be indentured servants? Are they going to get land? Sorry about that. Sorry, somebody's calling me on my Google Voice number. And I've declined the call, so I don't know why it's so messing up. But anyway, think about the different things that you kind of know that have happened. Think about how maybe what we would be like today if we had outlawed it back at the very beginning of the Declaration of Independence, okay? Are there any questions? I'm going to go ahead and unhide this for our first section. Does anybody have a question? It's not there. Promise that'll be unhid. Let's see if anybody's. So no questions. I have all these people and no questions. So you'll need to do this and respond to 2 classmates by Sunday. They would have, Tucker, yes. Like I said, well, okay, so Tucker, you bring up a good question. So they almost outlawed slavery, or they almost didn't permit it, actually. This was the, yeah, I would have done, this was the verbiage that Thomas Jefferson was going to add to the Declaration of Independence. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, first of all, what they were doing was putting together a document to show that the king, King George III, okay, of England, because that's who was colonizing us. We were colonies of Britain, England. We want to show how bad he is and all the bad things that he does. So this was one of them. Which probably there were other people who were vocal, people being delegates maybe from South Carolina and Georgia that were vocal about, no, wait a minute, we can't do that because, you know, we need slaves also. But also, here's the thing. Great Britain outlaws slavery in the 1820s. Or was it the 1840s? Something like that, somewhere in that time period. And so everybody kind of knows this is not a good idea, but it's more like money is weighing out more important than the ethical decision. And when England or Great Britain outlaws slavery, they tell the entire world that, you know, anybody who has slaves is horrible, is bad. You know, they do a complete 180. I'm going to open up this discussion in the other. Okay, I got 2 minutes. We did a lot. I didn't talk as much about September 11th as I wanted to, but hopefully you all have taken a moment to, if nothing else, just, you know, remember a little bit. Hopefully you watched my video here. It's pretty sad. I teared up when I watched it, but, you know, it's also accurate. That's exactly what it felt like that day. I don't know how many of you remember that day. If you're old enough now to remember that day, I very much was. I was an undergraduate in college and was going to class, actually. I had Tuesday, Thursday class. It happened on a Tuesday. And it was frightening. It was scary. It was nothing that we ever want to know again. And the people, gosh, I just cannot say it enough. The people who risked their lives. You know, everybody's coming out from the Twin Towers. People are running for their lives, literally, and then you have these firefighters going in, you know. They're not running out, they're going in. Okay, got 4 questions. Let's see. That's what you said. Yes, it would have, yes, Jasmine. And look for yourself, and you can even do some search. Yes, it would have set a different tone, because what they were trying to do, remember, the king, they're trying to show all the grievances against the king, King George III. And so, you know, they would have, yeah, we would have been completely different, right? Yeah, the video was sad. Natasha, you remember, yeah. But you know, Natasha, there are a lot of people today. I love you young people, but it's pretty hard to imagine that there are people who are too young to remember what happened or what everything and everybody felt like. But you know, I saw something. I got to get up and let my dog out real quick. I saw something. Hold on one second. I had to let him out or he gets a little anxious if I don't. I saw some kind of meme or something like that or something on Facebook, and it said something to the effect of, I wish every day could be like September 12th. Because as a nation, and this was true, I felt this, I don't know if you did, Natasha, but as a nation, there was no color, there was no race, right? We were all Americans on that day. You know, the day after, we're all in shock, but yeah. Cody, I want to answer your question in reference to, yes, everyone came together, didn't we? Cody, you're asking me, do I think the Civil War would have started sooner had Jefferson's passage been in the Declaration of Independence? Well, and what we will find out is, even in 1776, cotton, which was the huge cash crop that demanded so much labor, hard labor, and was one of the reasons why we had so many slaves, especially here in the South. Cotton at that time, it was before the cotton gin was invented, right? And so cotton was sort of not so much of a cash crop. Now, tobacco, there was lots of need for producing tobacco, and some of the sugar cane fields, those were cash crops that needed hard labor. But cotton became king, and they call it King Cotton for a reason. It just made so many people so much money. It was such a huge cash crop, which was what increased the demand for slaves. So would the Civil War had happened? I don't know. That's what I want you to know. Part of the reason for the Civil War, people will tell you the Civil War wasn't fought over slavery. It was fought over the economy. Well, the economy was that cotton was so profitable. Okay, well, you didn't have the cotton without the slaves to, yeah. But people will argue with you about anything. And preserving a way of life, okay? Well, you know, that was a way of life for people who were wealthy and had a lot of slaves. Slaves were property. I don't know if we would have had a civil war. Probably, I'll tell you this. If you look at the colonies and how all the different colonies make their money, in the North, they're not going to have huge crops. They're not going to be agriculture. They're going to have different ways of making money through fishing and furniture making and whatnot. I think the South would have found another way. But if slavery had been outlawed, or if we did not allow slavery and we needed labor, then we would have had to pay them. I'm kind of thinking they would have been indentured servants. And you know what an indentured servant is, okay? So you're going to agree to come and work for me for a specified period of time, for 7 years maybe. I'm going to pay you some wages, and I'm going to support you, and then you get to be released, maybe something like that. But it would be interesting to know. I don't think we would have had the Civil War, at least not about that issue. We may have found something else. All right. Oh, really, Jasmine? Listen to this. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Jasmine. So yes, oh, wow. I tell you, that's the thing. You see so much when something tragic like that happens. You also see so much goodness in people. You really do. It was horrifying to watch. It was horrifying to watch on TV. It really was. Guys, I am past my time. I apologize, but I've released the discussion questions, and hopefully you'll go and read a little bit, do some additional research if you like, write me something on that. And but if you don't have anything for me, then I'm done. I'll be posting the online community service sites that we found, and take a look. And I'm more than happy to count one of your uh, community service hours in the planning of you, looking for a project or looking for something. I think that's fine. 2 new messages. By Natasha, she's probably already gone. Bye, Tucker. Hi, Melissa. Oh, you did? Tell me how that works out, Tucker. I'm interested. Oh, and don't forget to sign your informed consent. Okay. Guys, don't forget to sign that informed consent if you want to be a part of the study. You know what, Tucker? I didn't mention this, but you could do a combination of services if you wanted. I mean, you could download the app, and I would, count your time. If you get a call, but you could also just kind of in the meantime do something different. Look for another project. There was one here I wanted to find out. Let's see. I don't even know what this is. I think it was in the. That would be cool. Look at this. I don't know what this is, or if it's what I think it is. Let me get this out of the way. Put this here. Chimpanzee. I think you have to look for monkeys. I think you have to watch monkeys, also, honestly, or chimpanzees. That could be interesting to do. Thanks for volunteering your time to help us identify wild animals and their behaviors. Uh, yeah. No, you can, I mean, it's voluntary to sign. But yeah, if you're under 18, you can't be a part of the study. That's okay though. Come on by. I'm in Frank Brown Hall. 2022 is my office number, Tucker. Okay. This could be interesting. See, so you can just watch monkeys. Some people I like monkeys. I think you can watch other things too. You can watch lions, and I don't know why you'd want to watch a rodent, but maybe some people do. Porcupines. Could be interesting, huh? Fun stuff. You can do more than one. Let's see, what else do they have? So you have all this stuff you can go, like see if you were interested in climate. Here's a penguin watch. Somebody needs this for their research. That's cool. Sounds of New York City. Huh. Medicine might be gross. Social science. I want to know what this is. What is this? Oh, this is transcribing some more. Is that what it is? Tracking the life, histories, and criminal careers of Australian prisoners. Okay. That's, wow. Okay. Transcribe part of the. It's interesting. And then there's also this one right here. Look at satellite images of storm and help researchers predict cyclone behavior. Bye, Tucker. I'm just not seeing you. So you could help predict our next hurricane. Interesting. Keely, I haven't heard anything from you. Haven't heard anything from you, Keely. What do you think about it all? So Jasmine, what you're doing here is you're going to do the service learning project. The only thing Dr. Chuang is doing is by signing the informed consent, you're just agreeing to allow us to look at your work after the semester's over. So you'll still, you know, do the service learning project. Did that answer your question? There you are, Keely. Keely, did you see the online stuff? Are you interested in that? Okay. I just wanted to make sure. If y'all have any questions, please. I like the monkeys too. That could be interesting. Um, certainly if you have any questions, just let me know. And right now we're just looking at opportunities, trying to figure out maybe what we want to do. The week of midterm is when I'm going to ask you to officially tell me what you want to do, but not tell them, but I'm. Oh, that's okay, hon. Don't worry about that, Jasmine. You're fine. No, I won't be able to pull your work, but um, but I'll still accept your work and I'll still grade it and all that kind of stuff. You're perfectly fine. Don't worry about if you send in the form even though you're not 18. It's okay. Actually, I think I can get any work that I have an informed consent on, so I might be wrong about that. I might actually still be able to use your work. Good night, Keely. I like your name. I like Keely Tinsley. That's a pretty name. Jasmine, did you have any other questions for me? Okay, so what's going to happen there is, are you talking about, right now you're just entering into a group. You're just signing up for a group. But what's going to happen is eventually you're going to answer discussion questions about the service learning experience. So this is after you've already done your community service. Then I'm just going to ask you a series of questions for you to, reflect on, how the service went for you. How did you enjoy it? Did you learn something from it? Did you connect to history? And we'll talk more about how we can connect to history a little bit later. I don't think I have that. Let me see real quick. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so what I have you do, I know what you're talking about now. I got this service learning discussion right here. So here, you're just getting into your groups and go back. What do I have you do here? I think here, hold on. Do I have you doing anything? I thought I had something. Hold on. Maybe, oh gosh, maybe I put it in the other one and I didn't put it here. Oh no. Oh gosh, Jasmine, is that you? Yes, thank you for telling me about this because I do not even have this in the other group. So I will put something in here. Oh, but I don't have this due for a while, so let's see. I may extend it because I didn't have it in that other class. Oh, that's the drawback of having two classes that are not, two sections that are not together. No wonder you didn't know what to write. There's nothing there. So all I'm asking you to do here, let's see, remember this. is it's not that difficult. All I'm asking you to do is enroll in a group and then research 3 potential organizations, events, or strategies and list those. Just to kind of, get you thinking. All we're doing right now is trying to find something. So here it is. And here are the groups. So your task is to enroll in a group and then list 3 organizations or projects, right? Some potential dates. Did that answer your question? Oh, I don't think I finished all of those. As soon as I do, I'll post. You did. You probably did answer it correctly. As soon as I finish that, I hope to get it done this weekend. I will post a message saying that the gradebook is updated, and then you can go in and check. All right. You have a good night too. Bye. Stop sharing.